Hi, Donna. Thanks so much for doing this interview. To introduce yourself to folks that might be listening, could you go ahead and state your name and share with individuals where you're currently working, what your current position is?
Sure. Okay. My name is Donna Erez-Navot, and I run a mediation clinic that I founded at UW-Madison Law School here in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah.
How did you first find out about ADR or mediation?
I was just thinking about that recently, and I don't actually think I heard that much about mediation before I went into law school. I think the real introduction was when I was a second year law student, probably a first year law student, going to the information session about clinics, and I heard about Professor Love's mediation clinic at Cardozo Law School. And I think that's where I might have heard like very vague things when I was in social work school in Israel, that there was this thing that people were doing, that, but nothing specific. I really think I first heard about it when I was in that first year info session and got really excited about it, and then applied for the clinic and was accepted for my second year. Yeah, so I got to start doing it.
Well, how did you decide then to pursue a career in ADR? Sort of what was your motivation and what advice did you get?
So I think the motivation was more, I was frustrated kind of with the like rigidity and the rules of first year law school. Mediation was an opportunity to connect my social work studies, where I learned about kids in foster care and about families and dynamics and relationships and psychology, and my law studies. It was kind of a great way to connect those two. So it was really inspiring when I went into that. There were a couple sessions that we did, like a PINS mediation, like a juvenile mediation, that was really fun in the community mediation center, and I really felt like it connected my experiences, and I really found a voice there and a place. And that was really great in my second year of law school, to find that place and to find that niche for myself. The advice that I got, I wouldn't say, I got a variety of different pieces of advice. Professor Love was always really supportive, and she definitely said, if this is what you want to do, then you can do it. I remember I even invited my parents to like an end of law school barbecue, and made Professor Love promise them that I was going to get a job after law school in this field. um, but mostly, I mean, sometimes I got advice like, you have to practice for 10 years and you need gray hair, and all that kind of advice, and there's no way that a young person coming out of law school is going to do it. But I was pretty determined, and that's kind of my personality, and so I was able to get a first job that was full-time mediating in the New York City family courts. I was really lucky to get it, but I just decided that was the way I want to go, and that was it. Yeah.
Well, so given that folks sort of gave you advice that it might take 10 years of practicing law before you could get into mediation, and yet you stuck with it and you really pursued that career, got that job, I'm sure your parents were happy. If you had to do it all over again, would you have done it differently, or would you advise individuals today that might be thinking about ADR as a first career to do it differently?
No, I mean, I still, I guess, have a doubt sometimes, should I have practiced for a year or two in order to have expanded my opportunities afterward, but I don't think I would do it any differently. I mean, I think that I'm passionate about what I want to do, and I think, I just took a course in positive psychology, and like, the way that you love your job is that you believe in it, you're dedicated to it, you see its utility, you see how it helps other people. I mean, I get all of that stuff out of a mediation job. In mediation, you learn that you help people after 3 hours, and that keeps you happy. I think had I done something that maybe I would have thought was better to do, I wouldn't have been as happy as I am now. So, nope. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it definitely took perseverance, and it took motivation than maybe a traditional legal career. But these days, it's hard to come across a job in like a traditional legal job or non-traditional. So I think if you're determined and you're passionate about it, you should definitely stick with it and do it. Yeah.
I think that's awesome, Donna. At the end, you were talking about really what keeps you motivated about being in mediation and ADR, and that sense of happiness in your job it's something that's absolutely invaluable. So super excited to hear how much you love what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with folks who might be watching this?
No, just to reiterate that you do have to be you have to be goal oriented, you have to be passionate, and you have to kind of be determined. And I think if you have those things, I don't think it's the kind of career that you can just sit back and just expect that the offers are going to come your way. I think you have to go out and meet people and do things and go to conferences and get to know your professors and really like network really well. I would say networking is really, really important because it's not like there are thousands of mediator jobs. And I think starting your own practice as a mediator and also or working as a professor or getting an adjunct position, doing all that stuff. And then I guess the other thing is maybe, right, don't think about it as becoming like a full-time neutral at first, that maybe it's about kind of having a variety of different pieces to your career. So I always like taught a little bit and did some mediations and did some volunteering and did all kinds and I do like little projects, and I still do that even as a professor now. I mediate part-time and I teach part-time. So I just think it's non-traditional in that sense. You have to be a little bit creative, but you have to be determined. Yeah.
That's awesome. So in order to be involved in mediation or in the ADR field, be involved in a number of different ways. You don't have to see it solely as practicing as a mediator.
Right.
So teaching in different projects and continue having that perseverance, that determination. But if you do and you stick with it, you can have a job that makes you really happy. So it sounds like your story.
Yes, for sure.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Donna, for taking the time, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Allison.
Thanks, Donna.